welcome to Training Tuesday, where we go through weekly tips and tricks to make your career just a little bit more awesome. This week, we are talking all about spaciousness. Now, this topic has been top of mind for me recently as I am embracing the spaciousness right before I head out of office on maternity leave. So for any of you who missed it, I am heading out of office in February for the birth of our firstborn, which is very exciting. We are both thrilled. And it's kind of like a funny thing as a business owner to set your maternity leave policy for yourself. That in and of itself has been interesting. But the reason I share this in prep for it is, as I've been getting ready for it this last few weeks, I've started to have some downtime. Because the way I planned everything was I got all the things that I really had to do this month out of the way early, knowing that they would be ready, so that when the time comes, I can kind of just sit back and not worry about all the things on my to-do list when I go out of office. Same like the prep you would do for any vacation, but just a little longer and a little more open-ended than that. So as I've been getting ready for it, that's been my focus. And it's been really interesting because I've now reached the point in these last kind of few days, the last week, where I have a little bit of time and space that I don't necessarily have anything I need to do within it, which for me is a great and relaxing and a weird, kind of scary feeling because I've always been someone who has stuff to do. I always have a to-do list and a backup to-do list and the things that I'm like, with downtime, here's my next thing I can be doing. And it's been so interesting because it's been great and it's been a little bit of a challenge for me to not feel lazy or unproductive with the downtime, right? And so last week, I actually had an experience where as a result of the downtime, I was able to do some pretty cool stuff. So I had been, I had a little bit of extra time and space, and I decided to do something that I had not planned on because I had time and space. So I was able to do something really fun. I was able to offer some office hours, which was free one-on-one coaching time, to the members of my Find Your Purpose, Find Your Path founding members group. It's a mouthful. And so I was able to offer them one-on-one time, which was not something that was on my radar to do before going out of office. I didn't think that was something I would be doing or get to. And because I had this spaciousness, it was something I was able to offer, and it was awesome. They were all able to get something really beneficial out of it. I was able to connect with them, and it was such a fun thing to do. But I wouldn't have ever gotten to do that had I not had the spaciousness to play and do something creative and new and say, hey, why don't we just do this? And so the reason I share that little story with you is because so much of my audience are these high achievers, I imagine this might resonate with you. A lot of high achievers have a really hard time with giving themselves free time and space to play because we feel like we have to be doing the most all the time, right? Maximizing our time, being the most productive, doing all the things. And a lot of people start to think of spaciousness as kind of this like bad or indulgent thing, unintentionally, right? They want to have it and they say that's what they're working towards, but somehow when they get it, starts to make them a little like nervous and they sweat maybe, and it doesn't feel as good to them. And so I wanted to share this with you this week because the reality is it's not necessarily true. And if you want to actually be really productive, sometimes the best thing you can do is give yourself time and space, because that's often when you come up with the fun, creative ideas that you wouldn't have otherwise gotten to try, just like with my office hours last week. And so my tip for you this week is this, to ask yourself, am I giving myself enough spaciousness in my career, in my day-to-day, so that I can actually do the fun, creative, playful things? Am I really giving myself enough spaciousness? If so, great. If not, ask yourself how you can schedule more of that in. So schedule the room, because sometimes that can be the best way for us overschedulers, overplanners. So that is my tip for you this week. This is my last tip for you before I head out of office. So I will be back on here sharing Training Tuesdays when I feel like I can come up for air and have a little sanity back in my life. But until then, if you're worried about missing out on Training Tuesdays, do not worry. There is a whole backlog of content for you on the Empowered Achievers YouTube channel, so you can go watch all of these and watch back for the last, 2 years or something like that. So there's plenty of content for you to dig into while I'm gone. You can always go there, but that is my tip for you this week. So Embrace the spaciousness, my friends. I know I'm about to. And in the meantime, happy working.